Hi, everyone. Today on Scouting for Growth, I'm thrilled to welcome Brian McDermott, the visionary Chief Information Officer of Victor Insurance, a leading global managing general agent and subsidiary of Marsh McLennan. With over $3 billion in premiums across 8 countries, Victor Insurance is at the forefront of specialty insurance solutions, and Brian is a technology mastermind behind their success. Brian brings over 30 years of experience driving digital transformation across industries like retail, finance, government, and of course, insurance. His unique perspective, stemming from Victor's position as a high-volume transactional business, allows him to build digital bridges between the market, the brokers, and Victor's clients. This podcast today will be a little bit different. Steven Abel from Oliver Wyman is going to join us to highlight the value of the Oliver Wyman relationship with Victor Insurance as a subsidiary, as I said, of Marsh McLennan. Indeed, in the complex world of business we are in today, speed to value when delivering technology is absolutely vital. And Victor Insurance has found a critical partner in delivering tech, among others, with the Oliver Wyman team. So get ready for an insightful discussion on leveraging technology for business growth, creating a culture of innovation, and staying ahead of the dynamic world of insurance technology. Without further ado, let's welcome Brian McDermott and Steve Abel to Scouting for Growth. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Scouting for Growth. Today, I am so thrilled to be with Steve Abel and Brian McDermott. But before we go into the meat of our discussion, I would love for Steve to tell us why we are talking with Brian today.
Sabine, we've been talking in previous podcasts about Oliver Wyman and some of the good work we do. And I thought it would be fantastic to bring one of our amazing clients in to tell his story about what he's doing in his company and the interaction that he's had with Oliver Wyman. And excited to be here today to listen to that discussion.
Well, I'm so excited. So welcome, Brian. And with no further ado, it would be great if you could give us a short introduction about who you are before we go into the meat of our conversation on Victor Insurance.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the opportunity to present on today's podcast. Really looking forward to hopefully an insightful and interesting conversation here. I'm Brian McDermott. I'm based in New York. I work for Victor Insurance Holdings. Victor Insurance Holdings is a subsidiary of Marsh McLennan. I've been the CIO within Victor Insurance Holdings for about 9 years or so now. Previous to that, I worked for the parent company, which is Marsh McLennan, and I've been with Marsh for 15 or 16 years. I'm originally from the UK, now based in the US, and I'm responsible for all aspects of technology delivery for Victor Insurance Holdings globally. We are a company that is in the region of 1,200 people across countries. We run a multitude of small commercial and specialty insurance products. We act as an MGA, which is a managing general agent or a managing general underwriter. And we typically sit between the carrier and the broker to ensure that there is a successful handshake and transaction of insurance between the broker and the insurer. That's the role that we play in providing insurance products in market. That's a very high level perspective on who I am and the organization that I support.
Well, thank you so much, Brian, for joining me. And so I would like to start with talking about Victor's role and positioning in the market, because as you said, MGAs, MGUs are a critical aspect as to the way we do business today, partly when you have an amazing underwriting discipline. So as a leading global MGA with over $3 billion, I think, in premium, Brian, across 7-8 countries. How has Victor evolved and grown under your technology leadership to achieve its position?
Yeah, and just to go back to square one basics in terms of the definition of what an MGA or an MGU is. So an MGA is a managing general agent or a managing general underwriter. There is a real growth in market relative to the expansion of an MGA or an MGU, because the carriers that that typically provide traditional insurance products see a role for the MGA in terms of handling the transaction of insurance in market with the broker, and also with providing specialist support. We are an underwriter. We do provide specialist underwriting capability, some capabilities which the carrier cannot bring to bear in support of specialty products, and it's an ever-evolving specialist in these products and programs. We are appointed, an MGA is a company appointed by the insurer, which is typically the carrier, to exercise really supervision and oversight on specific and targeted insurance programs on behalf of an end insured. We do everything that an insurer company does. However, we don't source the capital. So the reason why we engage with the carrier is that they are the source of capital for us. They manage the risk in terms of the capital. As I mentioned, we perform all the roles of an insurance carrier, but we underwrite the risk on behalf of others, and we do a lot of the administration on behalf of the carrier. So essentially, we take care of aspects of what the insurance carrier doesn't want to have to accommodate for. So we do all the claims processing, the day two servicing, transaction processing, connect with the broker, administration of the broker, handling of insurance fees, and processing of any financial aspects. That's what we manage. We are in a number of different segments, quite specialist and niche. I'll give you some examples. We're the largest architects and engineering underwriter in the world, which is a very specialist and niche underwriting discipline in terms of understanding architects and engineering businesses. And we have industry practitioners within our organization who have a very firm understanding of the architects and engineering landscape, the business environment, accreditation, and what it takes to support that specific niche industry. And we have the ability as such to underwrite the risk on behalf of our architecture and engineering businesses across the globe. We also operate some unique programs on behalf of the government. We run the largest flood insurance program in the United States on behalf of FEMA, which again is a very specialist program to write flood in areas that the government had determined that are eligible for flood insurance that align to the FEMA flood insurance guidelines. So as such, these are areas where we can help the carriers to transact specific insurance specialty niche products in market, and we handle that transaction on their behalf. We have typically grown through acquisition. Within the last 8 years, we've grown from an organization that was $500 million in direct written premium. We're now at 3.2 billion in direct written premium going into 2024. So we've typically grown through acquisition, and by virtue of the fact that we've grown through acquisition as well, we've enhanced and expanded our product service offering in market, and we're trying to become I'll say the Amazon for brokers in the small commercial and specialty marketplace.
Very
and
nice.
Those are some of the key concepts that we're exploring in terms of I guess strategies and ideas around a Victor Superstore to accommodate for enabling the broker to connect to us in a way that's most efficient through a digital experience, and providing them a choice of products, be they specialty or commercial in nature, through a single combined experience. That's the key aspect and focus of what we're trying to accomplish in terms of value add in the marketplace and access to the products and services that we provide. My organization is typically very technology savvy. What I mean by that is essentially we've grown through acquisition, but typically we've acquired organizations that we would classify as being insurance technology or InsurTech in nature.
That's super cool.
I mean, that's the typical key attribute for why we acquired these organizations in the first instance. It was aligned to the fact that they have specialty products that were niche and unique, but also the technology platforms and the capabilities that they have with their technologists in their group. We acquired them for that market differentiation as well. We are going through a transition. One of the key challenges that I have is to make sure that we can modernize while we integrate. So that's a key aspect of what we have to accommodate for in my organization as we go on our journey towards the future.
Fascinating. I mean, it's fascinating to see how you have shaped and grown that business with your team and other executives within Victor, Brian. But what actually resonates with me is that, the MGA market is there and it's still vibrant. And you actually have been scaling your own MGA by leveraging insurance technology, InsurTechs that you have actually embedded within your organization. Are those mostly in the United States? Are they located globally? So that is my first part of my question related to what you just said. And then when you look at the capital aspect and the insurers supporting you, are some coming from Marsh McLennan or coming from other insurers?
Yeah, so we operate in 8 countries globally at the moment. The majority of the revenue and premiums derive from the US. I would approximate it to be 80% left side of the globe, 20% right side of the globe. But we do see immense opportunity on the right side of the globe because it's an untapped opportunity in territories with products and service offerings that we can provide. So that's a key strategic focus for us as we proceed. In terms of if we look at where we sit in the insurance value chain, we sit in the middle, right? Which the carrier is on the left-hand side. The broker is on the left-hand side and they support the end insured. And the carrier is on the right-hand side and they provide the capital, right, to us. In terms of if I look at both aspects of our client relationships, we are a B2B organization. We work directly with our brokers. It's a B2B arrangement. It's a B2B engagement. We typically have carrier appointed brokers, market brokers. They're just either specialist market brokers. So you might have an architecture and engineering broker, for example, or they're just generalist market brokers in the sense that they are small commercial brokers, high street brokers that we work with. We have approximately 30,000 brokers that we work with globally throughout the world to support our product placement in market. From an insurance perspective, i.e. a carrier perspective, we have had traditional relationships. Historically, we've had relationships with organizations like CNA going back for 45 years. We've had relationships with a number of the tier one, what I would call tier one carriers in market, but we also lean into our broader relationship with Marsh McLennan when we're looking at new product opportunity and expansion. And that's a key aspect and benefit for Victor because Marsh has a lot of leverage in market with our carriers to bring product into the organization, which some of the brokerages, wholesalers, MGAs, they don't have that kind of leverage that we do. This is typically an area that a lot of the InsurTechs have a challenge with as well. They have great platforms and great products, but when you ask the question about how much premium they have running through the platform, it's typically limited because of the leverage that they have with their carriers to bring those products onto the platform.
Yes, indeed. And that, distribution, when we think about insurance, we always need to actually think about distribution, how we are going to get these GWP, gross written premium, onto the platform and to gain the scale. And with Marsh McLennan, you also have that. So how does Victor's position itself as a subsidiary of Marsh McLennan. And how does that shape your approach into innovation and collaboration within the broader organization, Brian, while still maintaining your unique identity and agility?
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, as is always the case when you're a subsidiary of a large multinational enterprise corporation. So there's a couple of aspects that I, work towards in trying to deliver success within my organization. Clearly, I leverage the capabilities that the broader corporation brings me. That is Marsh McLennan. They have a lot of technology capability. They have a lot of technology knowledge. They have a lot of technology expertise, and they have a lot of technology solutions out there in Marsh McLennan. That has its pluses and minuses, and we are different from Marsh McLennan in the fact that we're a full front to back insurance company in what we do. We do placement of products through our digital portal experiences. We do policy servicing, we do claims processing, we do lots of data reporting and analytics, we do underwriting. Marsh McLennan are a reinsurance broker. They don't typically do underwriting. So our technology environments are different in the sense that they're built for different scale. We're low premium, large volume, right? High volume. Marsh McLennan are operating in a different market segment. They're operating in enterprise, high-end businesses. We're operating small or micro market. So our technology platforms are built differently in the sense that we have to build scalable, fast products that allow us to deliver high volume, low premium business, whereas Marsh is more of a heavy touch relationship based business with their clients when they're delivering enterprise solutions in the reinsurance space. So it's often difficult for us to align with Marsh completely in terms of the policy administration systems that they have and the solutions that they have, but there are a number of areas that I often lean into Marsh in terms of their capabilities around complementary services. So I have my core operating platforms, but I typically reach out to Marsh for aspects that support the insurance lifecycle, such as things like, Salesforce as our CRM-based solution, because that's an enterprise solution in Marsh McLennan. The corporate websites that we utilize operate on a Marsh McLennan platform. There are other shared services that they provide, the standard productivity and office tools, Office 365. The MMC on Marsh McLennan, they own and operate shared services for the infrastructure. So they operate all of the cloud-based services, AWS cloud and Microsoft Azure cloud-based services, which again I leverage. I don't have to manage and maintain that. I look to MMC to provide that provision to me where I host my applications and services. So that's certainly beneficial to me in the sense that we have that broader capability, we have that broader build of technology that I can look to leverage and harness to support Victor. But with it comes its challenges as well, because the larger corporation isn't always as agile, as nimble, as flexible as we would like it to be. It's Marsh McLennan is it operates on the NASDAQ and is financially regulated heavily. So we have to align relative to our security and compliance posture and implementation within our organization. But yeah, ultimately look to leverage what we can, where we can from the broader enterprise to help us scale and grow our technology solutions, of which they have a lot of capability. Align that to what we see as being best and most appropriate for Victor to support our solutions within our organization.
Yeah, interesting. Because I can see you have the ability to innovate, but you can also benefit from the efficiency of a large group as MMC. And so when you look at your vision around leveraging modern technology, Brian, to drive digitization, right? The big word, digitization, digital transformation, and innovation within Victor Insurance. How do you stay ahead of the curve when you think about insurance technology, InsurTech? Because the InsurTech space is going through it's ups and down right now, if I may say. What do you think?
Yeah, so we are, I guess I classify our organization as being mature tech, right? Because we've had technology within our organization, quite advanced technology in our organization for about 12 years or so now. We've been in AWS for 12 years, as an example, right? And we've had digital portal environments to connect our brokers to products for a number of years also. So we've had some learning there, but we need to continue to remain market competitive. And the way we're going to do that and be able to sustain that for the future is in a number of areas. Number one is we need to make sure that we harvest the data insights that we have. We have a lot of historical data in terms of claims information and in terms of underwriting information. We need to harvest that information and augment it with all of the modern tools that we typically augment data with, be it machine learning, artificial intelligence, data ingestion, data enrichment. That's a key area for us in the future. And that is a key area for us in the future in the sense that not only does it help us to grow and develop our existing products, it also helps us develop new products. It helps us to understand where we have cross-sell opportunities with all of our complement products that we're bringing together. And it helps provide value add to the carriers. We have to go and sell the story to the carriers in terms of what expertise and insights that we have to underwrite specialty products on behalf of the carrier. So certainly data insights and the complementary services that go along with data insights, be it AI, machine learning, and data augmentation, absolutely a key foundational aspect for us. And we are focused a lot on that. And we're focused also on looking at cloud native, cloud first tools to bring our data together. How do we bring our data together in a transformed way that we can make sense of, we can utilize, we can monetize, we can leverage and use as the basis to support the insurance life cycle and what we do. All the meanwhile, we have to go bimodal, to use a Gartner phrase, in the sense that we have the legacy. I've got 8 underwriting management platforms globally. So we have to go bimodal in the sense that we're modernizing the foundation, but at the same time, we're moving towards the future. So trying to define strategies for enabling us to do that and componentizing aspects of the solutions that we provide to enable us to modernize aspects of what we need to provide in terms of what we need to modernize in terms of value, in combination with making sure that we think about the foundation of the insurance core processing platforms. And that's a challenge because it's very difficult to continue to evolve and develop products on the platform, but at the same time, modernize the back end that those platforms and products, operate on. So we're spending a lot of time there trying to work through the different scenarios around how we proceed with modernization, how we build a foundation of the core operating platforms that we develop and implement our products on.
Can I ask you, Brian, what is your definition of InsurTech, insurance technology? Is it actually technology for insurance, or is it insurance for technology? I think it would be great to get your definition because I think things have changed. You mentioned you have been in InsurTech for 12 years, and I know InsurTech didn't start, in 2015, where, Anderson Horowitz started investing massively into insurance technology startups. What is your definition?
That's a great question, right? Obviously InsurTech, the concept of InsurTech was a significant hype aspect in market going back 6 or 7 years ago, and there was lots of startups who were really looking for silver bullets or solutions to problems that insurance have, traditional insurance in terms of the legacy way in which we do things. And they were looking at all aspects of the insurance life cycle. How do we get submissions into our organization in a digitized, easy way? There was lots of organizations focused on document ingestion, transformation, and being able to take the burdensome and labor out of having the manual process that brings submissions into the organization, i.e. getting the business placed. There was lots of organizations focused on underwriting and where they could bring capabilities there from an InsurTech perspective. Lots of organizations who were focused on specialty or unique aspects of how you look at your risk data. Lots of organizations that were looking at how you can enrich your data by being able to bring in aspects of data enrichment from the internet of things, risk modeling, all aspects of the insurance lifecycle really, and where technology can provide a value add. I think there's been a significant shift, obviously, in the last 18 months or so towards a lot of these InsurTech organizations being focused on where they can provide value add with machine learning and artificial intelligence, which has moved away from some of the traditional areas that they were focused on relative to we can build a digital platform, we can build it quickly, we can provide product through that digital platform that will support your placement of products in market. So I think there certainly has been a shift towards AI, machine learning. I mean, that's representative of technology at large as well, right? But there certainly has been a shift there. I think the hype is less than it was. I think I haven't seen many silver bullets out there in terms of solution to groundbreaking and world solutions that are going to really revolutionize this industry at this point. There was lots of organizations that I still think are finding their way, like Lemonade. Great proposition in market, great solution what they have, great user experience, very efficient, very unique. But I still think they're finding their way in terms of, does that model work? Can it be cost effective? Can it be efficient?
Yeah, absolutely true.
A lot of one of the areas that we had a lot of conversation on originally, and was a key focus, I would say, in InsurTech about 3 or 4 years ago, was around API aggregators. So this was the Talage, the Breezers, the Bold Penguins of this world. And essentially what they were trying to do was build out a capability for you to be able to connect, get the broker to product with a carrier through a digital exchange, right? How do you bring those complementary products and services together into a combined experience? And how do you do that in a digitized way? Again, those guys are still out there, but I think they're trying to find the way. Some of them have been acquired by the likes of Vertafore and some of the agency management platforms, because the agency management
go as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The agency and broker management platforms, they see it as an extension of what they already do in terms of we had to have the brokers on their platform. How do they get the brokers connected to products? And by connecting them through a digital exchange in an efficient and easy way, they're looking to a lot of these companies to help them with that. But I still think they're working through the mechanics of how they can provide value to broker in terms of the insurance life cycle. Most of them have sold for the ability for the brokers to quote product, but beyond quote product, they're still working through once the product's in force on the carrier's platform, how do they then go about servicing and maintaining it in an efficient and effective way in a digitized manner? So it's still work in progress, I think, with a lot of the InsurTechs. They're still out there. They're still trying to find their niche. I haven't seen something that I would classify as being absolutely groundbreaking and revolutionary. I guess it's gone through the same kind of hype cycle that fintech went through as well, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. InsurTech is redefining itself. And for me, I see three phases, and probably we're entering the phase three right now, where phase one was, around digitizing the customer experience. So every InsurTech was trying to go into that digitization where moving from, you would say legacy or green screen to providing customer, even employees as well, right? A better experience so that they can do their job, but also engage with customers much more streamlined engagement. Then I think we went through that phase around this API and actually moving back to probably the infrastructure play for the insurers. And now, question mark, with artificial intelligence, there will be a new phase. But I think the company which are going to survive, there is going to be a lot of acquisition. There is going to be a lot of merger and acquisition and rebuild of what InsurTech is. But also, I think there will be the few winner we are going to see out there. That takes me actually, Brian, to going into more question around examples. I know you have a great team at Victor. You have, fostering culture of disruptive thinking, innovative thinking within your team. And then you always constantly exploring new ways to actually build product and services. So I know you've already shared a few examples, but can you share a concrete example as to how your team has rapidly developed solutions to support new product launch within Victor and at the same time gain efficiency from replacing those legacy systems you mentioned, right? 800 you mentioned earlier.
Right, absolutely. We have to allow the technologists to innovate, right? Which again, working in the bigger corporation at times is challenging, right? And we have to allow them to innovate in a way that they can demonstrate value back to the business and demonstrate it quickly. Yeah. And that's what I focus a lot on. And that's what I've tried to focus on in terms of keeping my technology teams motivated and engaged and closely collaborating with the business to solve, because stating the obvious, but we are the lifeblood of the business in terms of the business being able to succeed and be able to transact products in market. We are a high volume, low premium business. We are very digitized in what we do. So it's super important that the technology teams have close alignment with the business in terms of being able to understand areas for opportunity, leading from behind with the business, presenting to them areas where we can innovate, where we can develop, where we can evolve our technologies platforms to support the business to grow and produce quality and market leading products. Yeah. It's important that I allow them to innovate by giving them the room to innovate, because we often get, tied down to or ingrained in and sucked into managing the core infrastructure and operational services that we have within our platform. And we spend a lot of time doing that. But what I focused on in my group is having an innovation arm within my organization that I give the opportunity for them to work together to produce outcomes, to look at different solution areas, and to allow them the flexibility to do that by having them ring fenced and giving them the chance to look at new technologies and tools in an incubated way. That's a key area. The other area that I've found has been very helpful for me in my organization is we've grown through acquisition. So by virtue of the fact that we've grown through acquisition, just giving the teams the opportunities to collaborate and having the key technologists, the key developers get together in a room and think, brainstorm, innovate. Yeah, that's super important. Yeah. It's difficult nowadays with us being very remote, but I've seen great value in having the guys getting together in a room for 3 days versus them being on a conference call for a year. Much value more in the 3 days than getting together on a call for over a period of a year. And the outcome is a lot more productive from my perspective. So trying to promote those kind of engagements as well with my team, giving them access to the latest tools and technologies, making sure that they are able to, again, in a lot of cases, incubate in the form of looking at new pipeline tooling, looking at new modern technology stacks, looking at new AI capabilities, and being able to innovate and incubate those so that we can come up with solutions that we present back to the business in a way that resonates with them, but where the technologists in my team are really seeing as being the key advocates for those. And the technologists get a buzz out of that. They really thrive upon it in terms of, where they're able to represent back to the business that they've used their insights as technologists, and they've used the tools that are available to them to drive value for the business. So really, in summary, allowing them to innovate and bringing together the capabilities in my group, understanding those capabilities so that we can bring expertise to bear, giving them the opportunities to incubate, giving them the capacity to allow them to do that away from the day-to-day BAU, and focusing on key individuals in my organization who can help with that. It's key and important, obviously, as well, that they have in my world, very much a good understanding of the insurance domain so that this can solve for the business. They look at technology in a way that is solution-based technology thinking versus traditional. It's just a commodity service. It's more of a think relative to a solve and the insurance domain that we're trying to support and provide value for.
Yeah, fascinating. So I would love for you to remind us how big is your organization, because I can hear, regardless as to whether we work remotely, you have been able to build an organization who sometimes is remote, but sometimes needs to meet face to face to actually achieve and get those outcomes much faster in an agile way than working remotely. So one thing that's come to mind is when you look at all your stakeholders, because I can hear you have MMC stakeholders as well to fulfill, can you describe the benefit of using your agile approach in terms of speed to market, ability to demonstrate progress early, and also delivering value to your stakeholders?
Yeah, I think, in work with Steve and I, in working with, me recently working with OW, we talk a lot about speed to value and really driving technology solutions quickly, innovating quickly, fail fast. Right. Historically, we all know that the traditional way in which you delivered technology solutions within corporations, certainly enterprise corporations, was you spend 6 or 8 months putting together a business case, a multi-million-dollar business case, and then you spend 2 or 3 years developing and implementing a solution. And it was very rigid and not very flexible. And often the outcome was very poor and the success was very limited. So for me, it's all about really going back to where do the business want to drive value? How can we demonstrate value quickly? How can we demonstrate value in a way that's effective? Be mindful of not disrupting the business while we go on that journey, right? Which is often very difficult. And really using that as the basis for understanding by delivering quickly, incrementally, we understand the solution that we have. We have an idea of the problem that we're trying to solve quickly. The solution evolves and develops quickly, so we can demonstrate back to the business in terms of how we're seeing the solution come together. We can get quick feedback from the business in terms of are we meeting their expectations. I think in a lot of cases as well, if we just look at the organization I support, which is an MGA organization, we have to deliver and innovate quickly because the business don't always know the outcome that they want to drive towards, because we're developing new and unique products. So in a lot of cases, I use the phrase, we're going to kick the tires on this one, aren't we, guys? Right? We're going to do a very quick and dirty build for you, allow you to get submissions in, allow you to evaluate those submissions, underwrite them. We'll do a very, very contained user pilot, to evaluate what we're doing. And from there, we can grow and evolve, right? But have the base foundation to allow us to grow and evolve the product as it evolves in sense of how we perceive it to operate and work in market. There have been initiatives where, in some cases, I've spent 4 weeks doing a development effort to build a web form out on products just to get the submissions in, and then there's lots of hamster wheels behind the scenes to process, transact that submission, to just evaluate whether we're going to be successful to evolve and grow and develop that product. And that has worked in both ways, in the sense that we've had products where we've built out a very lightweight engagement with brokering market to transact those products. We do manual underwriting in the form of Excel spreadsheets, etc. And those products have not evolved. We've bound like 2 policies, right? There have been other areas where it has taken off exponentially in a short space of time. And that at that point, obviously, we need to be in a position to be able to understand what we need to do to evolve and develop that product quickly in terms of building out the capability on the platform. So again, I think in summary, it's, speed to value, driving outcomes quicker, sooner, demonstrate value back to the business to show them where the value can be. Looking at the technology platform as to how we can build out either new capabilities or existing capabilities on our platforms in a quick and agile way to derive value for the business and the organization.
Yeah, superb. So that takes me to your engagement with Oliver Wyman, because I believe that someone who wasn't actually initially familiar with the Oliver Wyman's capability, you got in some way a little bit inspired to engage with them. And so can you tell us a little bit more about the partnership and how it evolved over the past 6 months? And maybe we can get Steve to come back to also engage with those questions.
Yeah, so I knew about Oliver Wyman because they're part of the broader corporation. Yeah. And I had previously engaged with Oliver Wyman and for insurance insights through Celent, which is the insights organization that Oliver Wyman has relative to market and industry trends around insurance. So I had engaged with Celent previously. I had not engaged with Oliver Wyman in terms of providing value to help me with my agility, my delivery, my product thinking. I hadn't done that previously, and I've seen great value in that recently in terms of bringing perspectives to me, which would help me frame my thinking in terms of how I can develop my products and services quickly and in an agile way. I think the other area that Oliver Wyman have helped greatly with is really just really an extended incubation lab for me. I made mention to the fact that I actively promote innovation in my team. I give them the opportunity to innovate and develop and evolve. And Oliver Wyman, with the way in which Oliver Wyman think is in terms of how can we drive speed to value, right? Use accelerators where we can. What accelerators can we use that are available nowadays that we can quickly, utilize to get our code and modernize our code in a way that's most efficient and effective? How can we do that in an incubated manner? How can we take what you guys have got, look at that, and use our acceleration tools to modernize what you have, represent back to you so that you can understand where the value can be for you, and then you can then package and containerize that with a business in terms of, hey, we've worked with this incubation organization, that's Oliver Wyman, that's helped us to evolve and accelerate our efforts in terms of modernization. We think we've got a way in which we can do that in a quick and agile way to derive value. By doing that, we can evolve the foundation of what we have. We can resolve a lot of pain points. We can step towards the future. We can modernize our technology platforms. And Oliver Wyman have been instrumental in helping me with that thinking. helping me with that approach, helping me with the tools that they can bring to bear, helping me with the fact that they go off and can be self-sufficient because they understand the insurance domain and what I have at hand in terms of pain points and problems that I'm trying to solve for.
Yeah, superb. And Steve, what can you share with us?
We've been maturing our ability to deliver at speed using some of the amazing accelerators. And I really appreciated Brian's vision from day one. I do think that there might have been some initial skepticism about speed for R&D. And I think we were able to show fairly quickly, within weeks, the ability to, as Brian said, generate some visible results to the business, generate some paths to be able to have optionality around vended solutions. And it's been exciting. I have to say, working with Brian's team has been a great synergy, and it's just exciting to see a lot of this come to fruition and being able to deliver together more effectively, faster. And this idea of speed seems really important in terms of our future. I don't know, Brian, what your thoughts are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And for me, it has been, often we have that skepticism, right? I've worked with a number of vendors over the last few years whereby they promise you that they can do things quicker, faster, cheaper, right? And when I first engaged with your team, Steve, we had those similar kind of conversations, right? But the conversation that we had, it really evolved from let's just go and do this. Let's move away from skepticism. Let's move away from us being too critical of our ability to deliver. And you guys demonstrated quickly back to me that you could deliver, and you did that in a way that was very limited impact to my team, right? My teams have provided you insights in terms of the platforms, provided demos, given access to code, but you've really gone off and you understand our insurance domain. So you've gone off and you've been able to come back and say, hey, here is your platform. Here's how we can get you to a better place in terms of modernizing the platform that you have. And I can just sort of give some insight in terms of what the problem domain is that we've got at hand here, right? We have a legacy underwriting management platform. It's a Microsoft-based .NET environment that we have. It has a web front end that we built out about 6 years ago, which operates on a Duck Creek product, which is called Agent Support, which is a broker portal product that connects to our back-end underwriting management platform. And we do have a microservices connection between the front end and the back end, but it was very inefficient and we're operating on legacy code. And some of the workflow needs improving and enhancing, and the connectivity between the front end and the back end was inconsistent. It led to data integrity problems, wasn't always bi-directional. The updates from the back end didn't always come through to the front end. Those are the challenges that we're being faced with. Not scalable, not flexible, not workable for the future as a foundation. Oliver Wyman have come in. They've looked at our platform. They took the code and in an incubated way have gone off and developed a prototype of a solution to stage that towards the future, not just in the fact that we are building out, hey, look, here's a new modern experience, what this could look like, right? But also building out on a new technology stack. We're going complete new mean technology, and with that we'll obviously embrace the opportunity to bring together some of the tools that will come with that from a continuous delivery, continuous integration perspective in terms of DevOps. That by virtue of the fact we'll be moving to a mean stack, we'll do that. And OW have a lot of capability in that regard as well in terms of understanding those new technologies and how we can rapidly build out solutions on the new technology stacks, the new mean stack technologies to enable us to build out of our products. And one of the things that we haven't done is we haven't completely overhauled our business workflow process, right? We were conscious of that. We wanted to step towards the future to remove pain points, build a foundation that's on a new modern technology stack. By virtue of the fact that we're building on a new technology stack, we're going to inherit some of the benefits that gives us in terms of new look and feel on UI, and some capabilities in terms of what we can switch on and switch off in terms of workflow, some of the new opportunities it brings us in terms of API capabilities. But we haven't completely overhauled the workflow aspects, and that is often a challenge, right? When you're moving from one platform to the other, often we try to reimagine the business insurance workflow process front to back, and that is typically what causes these bloated and extended projects over multiple years, right? So we've tried to, limit that where we can, and in doing that as well, it limits the business interruption or impact, and allows us to do this in very much of an incubated way with a solution that we're trying to solve for here.
Yeah, Steve, anything you want to add as well?
Sabine, what I love about this example is it's a different tool in our collective tool belt than machine learning AI and generative AI.
Yeah.
It's the ability to focus on a problem using kind of standard tech, but be able to deliver fastly, quickly with agility, being able to meet the business need, and not really look to a multi-year program or vended software for the solution, to look at the tools available right in front of us to be able to solve business problems. And it's been super exciting to work with Brian's team on these problems.
Yeah. So Brian, you already have mentioned a few of the emerging trends which are there. So I would love for you to, help us finish off this conversation with aspiration, inspiration around what are the emerging technology you see are going to be transformative for specialty insurance, right? And how Victor is positioning itself to capitalize on those. And then I would love for you to give some advice to the CIO who are out there struggling potentially in taking their own decision. And I'll come back to you, Steve, with some conclusions.
Yeah, I think I've made mention to some of the key technologies that we need to embrace and harness to support specialty and small commercial insurance in the MGA space. Those being, data transformation tools, data insight tools, all the AI toolkit, if you like. I'm keen to lean into a cloud first based approach where I can, because, AWS build APIs every day. I can't keep up with that. I don't want to, right? Everybody else is in AWS. They're leveraging all the, AWS capabilities. We're on a call with AWS last week. They had 2 pages of machine learning and AI capabilities, and some of which are insurance domain specific. So certainly keen to lean into that and understand where those can provide benefits to me as an organization. And it gives us the compute as well, right? Obviously, as we move into the era of, large language models and high processing capability or computation for AI modeling, we need that, right? We need the cloud. It needs to be scalable, etc. So certainly looking at areas there for the future. And we've got a number of different areas that we're pursuing in that regard. Data insights, super important for us. Where can we get better data insights as the world evolves? Everything becomes connected, everything becomes available. Data is, aplenty. It's just how you can make use of that data in order to inform your decision making. We need to inform our decision making around writing risk on behalf of the carriers, right? Super important for us in specialty areas that we manage on behalf of the carrier. So certainly keen to look at what those data insights can provide us, and being able to connect to them in an easy and efficient way through our underwriting management platforms, and pull those data insights or sources in to support the workflow or underwriting management, delivery of our products and services. I guess my advice for, other CIOs looking to drive digital transformation would be, it's really that, it's a balance between grow and evolve, right? I used the word bimodal before, which is a Gartner word of, you've got your legacy, but at the same time, you've got to evolve and develop. And that's a real difficult journey to go on, right? And you've got to think about it in a way that's that's a value. There might be environments that you just leave to be legacy and put them into maintain, right? And that's fine and sufficient. There's other environments that you do need to grow, evolve and grow, right? And we have capabilities now to enable us to, bring to bear applications and build microservices, right? And have reusable microservices that make these solutions flexible, right? And that helps us evolve and grow and componentize and be able to expand those solutions moving forward. So that's a key aspect of what I'm focused on. That helps us with the evolve bit, right? And grow bit at the same time. But it's a difficult balancing act, right? Keep the lights on support, continue to, maintain the platforms. How do you evolve the foundation? How do you build capabilities for the business, be it digitization at the front end, be it data ingestion and AI to support them to grow. But those are all aspects that you've got to look at in a way that is value to the business, that you can evaluate relative to where the business can get benefit. And it's a difficult balancing act. But yeah,
I get that. You're absolutely right. Difficult balancing act by module. I also often hear the word ambidextrous, right? Running the business whilst driving this innovation. Steve, what's your view?
Victor is not our only client that struggles with this balance. A lot of our clients really have this desire to innovate and grow the business at speed and feel held back by their legacy ecosystems. And the message I want to get out there is now the landscape has changed. The ability to deliver business results at speed and manage your legacy tech debt at the same time is there, as long as the problems are being defined correctly. And we would love to engage in that conversation with you if you're listening to this and you're in that struggle, because the ability to deliver faster at lower cost and manage that delicate balance, we have new tools now, and it's an exciting time to be in technology.
Yeah. And I think just to add to that, Steve, I mean, with the new technologies that we have now, we can implement them quickly.
Yeah.
We can develop them more easily and in an agile way. I've moved away from the traditional insurance technology solutions, insurance in a box, the Guidewire, the Duck Creeks of this world. I've moved away from that because I think they're inflexible, right? They don't give you the opportunity to componentize what you do. Talking about all of what we've gone through today, the insurance life cycle, how do you make a good digital experience? How do you bring data in? How do you do your underwriting? How do you get data insights? Yeah, when you start to evolve those within those packaged products, it's very difficult. It's very costly. It's very challenging. You can bring new technology in now quickly, easily, and you can make it flexible enough to accommodate for all aspects of what we talked through on today's call in terms of the insurance life cycle, and be able to do that in an efficient and easy way.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much, Brian. As you were just mentioning that optionality, breaking down this value chain and really understanding how we deliver customer value and talking about, the boxed solution we are there, the world is changing. And me, I'm a business person, and I promise you, I can do tech nowadays because it's made easy, low code, no code. I find myself doing some really interesting things too. So thank you so much for joining me today on Scouting for Growth, and I look forward to seeing you both very soon.
All right. Thanks, Sabine.
Thanks, Sabine.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Scouting for Growth. Please subscribe, share with friends, and leave a 5-star rating. Your rating is so valuable. I review all of them, and my team help me adapt content to meet your needs. Also, connect with me on my preferred channels. I am a B2B growth expert, so you will find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Threads, and X as well as Blue Sky. All information available below. Until next, keep scouting for growth.